So we've got to push out some tournament tactics here, simply because, and I want to encourage you, if you're a narrative player, I mean, this wargaming thing, we're all in it for different reasons. Some of us might build and paint and collect. Others might want to look at some of the narratives, Warhammer 40,000, the Black Library books, try to recreate that on the table. There is no right or wrong. But if you're a narrative player, if you're a hobby player, beer and pretzels back in the day, I've always encouraged to look and play competitively, simply because that is going to focus you. It's going to get you out of your comfort zone. It's going to put you on the spot under a timer. That might sound like torture, but these are all good things to help you make tactical decisions. And the biggest thing in playing competitively and tournament-wise is the fact that it's going to take you out of your local meta. It's going to take you out of the same amazing group of people that you play with, every week or every couple of weeks, every meeting, and introduce you to people that have a completely different way of thinking real time. It's also going to help you build important ties in the community, all very, very valuable. And we've pushed out some ideas. I've shared some of my tournament experiences. I'm going to double back down. But with that introduction, I want to look at doubles tournaments. I want to look at exploring a doubles tournament because for me, this has the most fun. Wargaming is social. I want to have a good time. I want to go blow some stuff up. I want to roll some dice. Yes, we're going to try and win, but I don't put winning over the social aspect. I'm a big fan of big games. I'm a big fan of team games. 2 or 3 people on each side. That's more people. That's more fun. That's more chances for interesting things to happen. So I like doubles tournaments. But the challenge here now, of course, there's a duality. You have to work with your teammate. So the tactica for a doubles tournament is to be iron solid, locked down with your teammate, with what you're going to do, how you're going to do it. And on the opponent's side, not only playing the mission, but seeing how you can create a wedge or stress points or problems with their tactica where they're forced in the moment to interface. They're forced in the moment to figure out what's going on. They're forced in the moment to make decisions they might not be ready for. And if their player personalities are radically different, that's going to create some interesting opportunities to exploit on the table. So how do we lock down our side, and how do we go about creating some chaos, some controlled chaos on their side? Some tournaments will let you, let's look at Warhammer 40K, because that's where a lot of double tournaments happen, and this is the easiest way to illustrate this concept. And I've used this throughout the years to be very successful at doubles tournaments. Naturally, whatever your system is, you can adapt. I won't say it's cheating, but the easiest thing to do is whatever level you're playing your army at in terms of points, to build an army at that level and just kind of have some people control one point and you control the other point of the army. So really, it's just one giant army. That's not really fair. A doubles tournament should be 2 completely separate armies working together. So you can't just have an optimized, super powerful army and I control everything because I'm experienced with it and you just pilot that Predator tank and you take care of that vehicle over there and that's what you're going to do. Some tournaments allow this, some don't. What I would recommend is play the army that you are most familiar with. Play the army that you are comfortable with, that you know back and forth, that you don't have to think about what's going on. You've got this kind of zen moment. And decide ahead of time with you and your partner, one army is going to build their list and be completely focused and completely dedicated on attacking. Their only job is to go out and attack and destroy as much stuff as they can, while at the same time limiting their losses. So it's just a grinder. It's an absolute grinder, turn after turn after turn. They're going to cause mass casualties. They're going to take mass casualties. By the end of the game, they're going to be completely wiped out. That's what one person's going to do. Maybe that's me. Maybe that's you. The other person is going to build their army to win the missions. 100% win the mission while offering some support. Fire support, assault support, whatever the attacking vectors are in your game, every turn. So this way they can help support the other player who's going to go out and just wreck stuff, destroy stuff. But they're there to win the mission. So they're not there to get glory. If they're attacked, they'll retreat. If the other person on your team is just getting smashed, you're not going to help out. It's that division. The idea with your opponent, the player that's going to go out, your teammate that's going to go out and just destroy things, by focusing just on that, they're there to tie up the other opponents for the entire game. They're there to create problems. So now being very, very aggressive. And this is what's interesting. Most people don't want to lose models. Most people have this duality where you're playing your army and you're like, okay, I'm taking losses every turn and I'm trying to minimize those losses, but I also got to play the mission, win the mission. Imagine going up against an army that they're like, I don't care about the mission. I don't care about the battle points. I'm just going to try and destroy you. I'm just going to try and trash you. Fast, hostile, mobile, aggressive. That's the army template they're doing. And then at the same time, imagine if you played a game of 40K where you were going to be elusive. You're just going to focus on the mission. You're not going to focus on engaging the opponent. So when they attack, you disperse. When they move somewhere and gain a superior position, you fade away. That's a very hard concept to deal with also. All right, examples. I usually with Eldar Trickery, I will take up the role of being the person that's going to focus on the mission. So I've got grav units, I've got jet bikes, stuff that's pretty fast and pretty elusive. They can secure a number of mission objectives depending on the tournament. They can pinpoint and add some firepower with their long-range shooting and their mobility. All of my resources go into that. Usually my friends playing Space Marines, could be Knights, could be Terminators, a lot of things with buffs. The idea that it's just going to be a grind fest. They're going to be aggressive. Turn one, they're going to be across that table, and they're just going to get stuck in and grind you down. They're not going to survive until the end of the game. That's where the mission point is. Now, you have to know this going ahead of time, simply because you can't build something like this and have your fellow battle brother or autarch go in, and after turn 2, they're starting to get really pounded and they get kind of a little upset and they are like, you got to help me out. I'm getting killed here. Like, no, stick to the plan. Turn after turn after turn after turn. So in my experience, going in with that plan, that division ahead of time, and mono-focusing each one of your armies with whatever resources you have, one person is 100% killy attack. Go out, kill as much as you can, and attrition down to the end of the game. The other person completely mission driven, whatever it needs to win the mission, with a little bit of fire support, long range supporting, but not at the expense of taking losses. You do that, that's going to overload those two aspects, those two polarizing aspects onto the other team. They're going to have to adjust turn by turn. They're going to have to make decisions turn by turn. They're going to have to see turn by turn. And from there, depends on their player personality. Maybe they can adapt, maybe they won't, but we're going to try and force them to make decisions real time. And in that decision-making process, the chance to make some serious mistakes.